Hi, welcome everyone again. I'm Tim Meredith, the Chief Commercial Officer here at OnApp, and thanks for joining us here today. I've worked for telcos for many years, designing, building and managing networks. Then I moved on to helping those organizations bring new value to their customers with innovative products and services. I actually made a career shift when I heard about OnApp because for the first time in a really long time, I saw a product that could actually solve the great puzzle of how can telcos be successful with cloud. So just first of all, what do we do at OnApp? Well, we provide software and services that enable you as a telco or a managed service provider to become a cloud service provider. We also do the same thing for CDN, that's content delivery networks. We've been around since 2010 and we've got a global footprint. We've actually deployed more than 5,000 clouds for our clients in 93 different countries. But this isn't a presentation about OnApp. A few years ago, I would have attended this webinar looking for ways to build incremental value to my product portfolio. As I said, I actually joined OnApp as I saw a way to accelerate cloud adoption and to help my former industry build more diverse product portfolios. So this is really about you, the telecommunications providers and service providers, and of course the markets that you serve. When I built those telco products, I found that technology providers had really good products and services, but it was often difficult to achieve the rapid ROI, and it took a long time to deploy, and by the time these services got to market, competition was causing a race to the bottom with a little differentiation and margin forecast that needed regular revision. Gold was sometimes difficult to find in the early days, then competition made it harder. I'm sure this sounds familiar. But in the market, there is consolidation or even exit for many of the Me Too providers. The falling leaves in those providers' autumn years are nourishing the stronger oaks that remain. Conversely, there is actually rapid growth in all as-a-service portfolios and those that adopt them. In some cases, over 30% compound annual growth rate. So really, the serious growth and margin opportunity are there for those that find the right adjacent products to add to their portfolio, that conquer the OSS and the BSS problem of a diverse portfolio, specifically around ordering and billing integration. And of course, those providers that make services easy to sell, simple to buy, and fast to deliver. So the question is it really possible to grow your own telco cloud portfolio? Well, we believe the answer is yes. Cloud is perfectly placed beside network and other telecom services in your portfolio, only if you follow these three things: simplicity, fluidity, and profitability. They're the real keys to success for any cloud provider. So let's look at each of them. First off, let's cover simplicity. This whole move towards serverless, breaking up cloud into hundreds of different services, well, that's great if you're a developer. Or if you're selling development services, integration services for those hyperscale clouds. The downside comes when you need to provide the fundamental cloud hosting service to your customers. And also when you move from the development cycle into production, when you start needing serious scale. For those customers, the whole point of cloud is about immediate instant access to compute resources without having to worry about complexity. And with the key benefits of cloud for their applications and data, which are scalability, always-on availability, and instant provisioning. Yes, of course, you can do that with Amazon and Azure and so on, but is it simple for you to deliver these benefits? No, it isn't. It means you actually have to hire the development and integration skills to turn their complex web of components into something that might actually look like the cloud service your customers want to buy. And of course, the headline price per service usually pulls in the uninitiated. Then you find out what other service combinations you need to make your solution work, which makes it expensive for you. The cost of all those individual components added together, scaled up to production levels, means that cost ramps up quickly for your customers too. Of course, there are quite a few different components to a modern cloud service, everything from the virtualization stack to software-defined storage and networking, through to metering, billing, access control, and governance. But it shouldn't be difficult to put those things together so you can take a cloud service to market. And it doesn't have to be expensive either. And so that's really why ONAP was created, to simplify that complexity. We built a cloud platform for service providers, which integrates all those cloud components into a single turnkey solution. There's just one user interface, one API, and one platform for your cloud. And by turnkey, we really mean turnkey. We can build your own ONAP cloud on your data center and network infrastructure in about 48 hours. That's the kind of simplicity you need to be successful in the cloud. The whole infrastructure as a service stack simplified in an easy to use, easy to buy, self-service environment. However, today I'm not going to dive into how all that works. If you'd like to know more, let's talk after this webinar. But as I said at the start of the session, we've been building service provider clouds since 2010. And actually, our whole company was built on this premise, to make cloud as easy and painless as possible. We're really here to help you grow. And yet, for some companies in the telecom space, having to deploy a cloud stack might still be too much complexity. We give you the whole cloud platform, but what if you don't have the data center or network infrastructure to run it on? Or what if you're just trying to launch a new cloud proposition and you can't wait for your infrastructure team to build out the hardware bits and pieces that you need? Or what if your business is moving out of hardware infrastructure or closing down data centers altogether? Well, that isn't a problem either. We can also provide the whole cloud platform and cloud infrastructure as a managed service. We call it ONAP On Demand. It gives you a ready-to-sell cloud where we manage the infrastructure and provide your white label cloud environment. So you can just focus on sales and consultancy, but more on that later. Okay, that's the high-level view. But what about something specific, like billing integration? When we talk with telcos, one of the biggest barriers to cloud we hear so often is that your existing business support and operational support systems just can't handle cloud billing models. There are some really common principles for voice and data ordering, provisioning, monitoring, support, and billing. They haven't changed a huge amount over the years, although the way they're bundled, of course, has. Cloud continues to evolve and can be a very different model for metric-based billing, but the question is it actually possible to achieve harmony with those telco systems in a simple way? In other words, how do you make a cloud platform play nicely with systems and processes that are designed to handle products like these, fixed line, broadband, and other telecoms products? When we talk to telcos, as I said, this is often one of their biggest barriers to cloud adoption. So let's make that simple too. We group the components of a cloud service in a way that makes sense for service providers. We actually call them buckets. A bucket contains all the pricing information, limits, free resources, and so on for every part of your cloud. Once created, you can then reuse those buckets for thousands of client deployments if you wish. What you're seeing is a little montage of the bucket configuration screen in the ONAP Cloud platform. Yes, of course, there are quite a few things to configure here, but in about 10 minutes, you can create a bucket that makes deploying your cloud model repeatedly extremely simple. So, for example, you might have a bucket for a basic tier customer, or a premium tier customer, or a bucket for cloud services that lead more towards compute, storage, or backups. The only limit is actually what your customers need. Okay, so that's all well and good, but how does that metering and billing data get translated into a format your systems and processes can work with? We've made billing integration simple as well. However you want to bill your clients, you can export raw data in flat files via the on-app user interface, or even automate access to whatever mix of usage and billing statistics via our extensive API. Okay, so keeping it simple, that's rule number 1. What's next? Rule number 2 is fluidity. What's the story here? I'm talking about workload and infrastructure fluidity. And really, this is a lock-in story. For your customers, and actually for your business, lock-in is the disease. Fluidity is the cure. So again, let's start with a common telco scenario, where businesses are going all into the hyperscale serverless game plan. Of course, you bypass traditional IT platforms, commit your customer workloads to an ecosystem without transparency or easy migration, and then wait for the bills to build up. Great. And worst of all, your customer is locked into that specific vendor. While reselling hyperscale cloud might seem like the easy option, it comes with significant commercial and technical limitations. Whilst you might not pay for the infrastructure, the heavy lifting involved in deployment and subsequent migration away from those expensive platforms becomes a massive cost to bear. As a telco business, you need more flexibility. For example, being able to use or not use your infrastructure assets, to be able to switch providers or move into new markets, by which I mean move into markets where your hyperscale partner doesn't have infrastructure, and do that without CapEx building your own. For your client, the same thing holds true. Whilst they might feel the need to have their workloads sitting on AWS servers, for example, and honestly, some of our service provider clients have said their customers insist on that despite the cost. While they might want the benefit of that infrastructure, they do not want the lock-in that it brings. So there has to be a different approach. In other words, how can you unlock your customer's cloud without paying the gatekeeper? Well, we enable you to build your cloud on the infrastructure best suited for the job, without lock-in. OnApp is a cloud platform that you can run on your own infrastructure, or that your customers can run on their premises in their own data center, or even a platform we can manage for you in our best-of-breed on-demand network of infrastructure providers, and yes, even in Amazon. So what does that actually mean for your growing cloud business? It means you can take your customer workloads and run them wherever you want, wherever they want. And crucially, it means you can easily migrate your customers to whatever mix of cloud infrastructure they need as the needs of their business change. Multi-cloud management has been a key industry topic for a while now. And yes, there are tools that allow you and your customers to review which cloud performs best for their needs and their pockets. We do multi-cloud management from the bottom up, from a block level perspective. This differs from other so-called multi-cloud platforms that can provide reports, but do little or nothing to help you migrate. Using OnApp, with a few clicks, you can migrate workloads into anywhere and out of anywhere as part of your cloud service. So your customers can still take advantage of hyperscale infrastructure if they wish, but of course, you are the gatekeeper. Some people's first reaction to this is one of horror. Why would you let my customers migrate workloads out of my cloud? Well, they aren't migrating off your cloud. It's actually still your cloud. The whole point here is that you can keep your customers' workloads, but run them wherever it makes sense. In your local cloud, in your on-demand cloud, in a customer cloud that you manage on hyperscale infrastructure, really anywhere. It enables choice without the complexity of managing multiple different cloud platforms. You can easily deliver cloud services that are optimized for performance or low latency, or to meet a specific price point, or located in specific countries to handle a customer's need for data sovereignty or even disaster recovery. Whatever suits your business, and of course what your clients need. And you own that customer relationship. So far, we've covered simplicity and fluidity. Plus, we'll be moving on to some questions and answers soon, so please remember to use the question tool to ask us anything. Let's move on to rule number 3. It's the most important one, profitability. And by that, we mean your profitability. Let's think about the telco that already does cloud by reselling Amazon or Azure or Google. Yes, that's another way you don't have to worry about buying or building your own cloud infrastructure. But the fact is you get tiny margins as a reseller. Plus, you have to upskill to get the development resource and admin resource you need to integrate it with your business. It's a very costly way for you and your customers to do cloud. And you're leaving the compute part of the service on the table to some other company. As well, you have all the problems of lock-in and complexity that we've already talked about, and you're losing control of your customers too. It might seem easier, but it's not. Really, it's not. Doing cloud with OnApp is much more profitable. And with OnApp, you still own the customer. It's your cloud service, not ours. And you have the benefits of the Fluidity story we just talked about. No lock-in. You can give your customers the freedom to run their workloads wherever they like. And again, yes, even including AWS. But you're a network business. Your core expertise is in networks. Your customers need your networks. All true, but what they go out and buy is cloud. Cloud is where the services they engage with actually live. It's also true that the quality of your networks make clouds better too, if you're able to stay in control. If you're not doing cloud or only reselling hyperscale cloud, you're leaving money on the table for your competitors and perhaps depriving your customers of a better service. So we help by making the cloud infrastructure and management layer simple to deploy and easy to run, and by encompassing all types of infrastructure your clients may need to use in a single platform. So then it gets easy to build the adjacent cloud products that will help increase your overall blended margin. Cloud services are growing at 30% compound annual growth rate. That's a fact. And this will help you pull through more network business alongside that. And of course, as we talked about before, our on-demand approach has another key benefit when it comes to profitability. You don't need to invest in hardware infrastructure to make cloud work, or even build out your own cloud infrastructure teams. On-demand includes the complete cloud platform stack, fully managed cloud infrastructure, and 24/7 monitoring and support with simple month-to-month or annual billing. As I mentioned earlier, if you have a network of data centers, OnApp is a great way to monetize that infrastructure. For many telcos, however, it makes increasing sense to focus on activities higher up the value chain and let us take care of the cloud backend for you. So if you have some new cloud products, how do you find that extra margin opportunity? Okay, so we can only take you so far. OnApp is a cloud toolbox that lets you build your own bespoke services, some repeatable and automated combinations of components. Just like prefabricated houses, this makes it quick and easy to deploy repeatable solutions. Quick and easy doesn't always mean high margin, however. Some industries and specific customers aren't always looking for a pre-built product. They need solutions that provide greater value to their business by solving more or very specific problems utilizing the cloud that you've built. This usually means specialists, and this is where the margin opportunity gets interesting. So now you've got an exciting challenge to take on. What problems would you like to solve for your customers? In what industries? And have you got a proven track record you can lean on? Different industries and specific businesses have got different problems. Those problems usually have a financial value to the organization concerned. The services revenue opportunity for you lies within the business problem cost delta pre and then post solution. This approach can often uncover a hidden pipeline of future opportunities that the customer didn't even know you could help with. Imagine the breadth of opportunity in some verticals, such as retail, finance, or healthcare. Your consulting practices can also be focused on specific technology stacks and can address problems that exist across different verticals. They often lack the breadth of a verticalized approach, but can still be lucrative. For example, user interface and security are two solution areas that consistently show great revenue opportunity and growth. A lot of those technology problems actually start as a business problem. So to stand the best chance of extracting maximum value, it's a good idea to start there. A holistic view of the business goal behind a technical problem, say for example improving customer service or sales performance, could open up a range of consulting practice-based projects over a multi-year program, covering multiple technology areas and creating more opportunities to move systems and processes to your cloud. That leaves a question for me. Knowing what you do now, is there a cloud provider ready to emerge from your business? Not a cloud reseller, but an actual cloud provider. Well, I strongly believe there is in almost every telco and service provider. So you've seen how simple it can be, how you can avoid lock-in, and how cloud can be more profitable than reselling, and even more so when you add practice-based services over the top. I hope this has given you a taste of your cloud potential and really encourages you to take your next steps. Right now, we're going to actually move on to some of your questions. The first question, is it possible to have a mix of managed and unmanaged clouds with ONAP? So I think this refers to what we've been talking about, which is both where you deploy a cloud inside your own data center and infrastructure, or indeed taking the managed on-demand option. So the answer is yes. You can run your own data center infrastructure using vCloud Director, vCenter, or KVM at the same time as having a managed cloud in the same ONAP environment. Obviously, there are different SLAs depending on if we're talking about the fully managed version, which then extend down to the underlying infrastructure. But yes, you can absolutely do that. Just move on to the next question. How do you achieve fluidity between completely different infrastructure providers? James, over to you.
So we have the compute resources running in both those infrastructure providers. We have full access to the stack and the underlying data level. So we can move that data while the virtual machine is still running behind the scenes, and then switch across, which is great. I'm sure I'd be happy to go through that in more detail on a demo and go into some more details there.
Great, thanks a lot, James. Next question: who are the infrastructure providers you've chosen for your on-demand product, and why? Pass over to Terry for that question.
Yeah, so when we were launching the on-demand product, we had a few basic requirements to become an on-demand service provider. First, because our customers have a worldwide necessity, we needed worldwide reach, and we needed to be able to deploy in each of those locations in a maximum of 72 hours. Secondly, we needed a certain level of SLAs that we can pass on to our customers, such as network, power uptime, and hardware replacements. And then finally, we needed to be able to purchase this hardware on a month-to-month basis. So our providers, Hive, Mikvo, and then Amazon Web Services all met these requirements, and all of our customers benefit as a result.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, Terry. That's great. Next question. Can I try ONAP before I buy? I'll take that. It's a nice, quick, simple one. Certainly, yes. Just go to tryonap.com and you can sign up for a free 24-hour trial. Next question. Do you support SDN?
Yeah, I can take that one. So yes, we support SDN. We support VXLANs powered by Open vSwitch and Open Daylight. There's full documentation on our website if you want to have a look. And again, if you wanted to have a demo of that functionality, then just get in touch and we'll walk you through it.
Great. Thanks a lot, James. Okay, next question. It's actually something we haven't really talked about today, but the question is, I've heard about Accelerator. What does it actually do? Well, Accelerator is a patented technology, and it's CDN acceleration capability that's included with your on-app cloud. We actually offer it for free, which is a bit of a world first when you use our cloud platform. We do also offer a full-blown CDN service, which you can find details of on our website, and you can find previous webinars on all of these subjects again through onapp.com. Okay, got another question. How quickly can I get a cloud on demand?
Yeah, so with on demand, you can get a cloud in as maximum of 72 hours. We actually guarantee a 72-hour deployment process.
That's great. Nice simple answer. Thanks, Terry. And I think this looks like our last question. Do I still get support with your normal unmanaged cloud platform deployed in my own data center? James?
Yeah, this is an equally simple answer, I think. We offer 24/7 support with all of our services on demand and our standard cloud products.
Perfect. Excellent. Thanks very much, James. That's great.
No problem.
So that just leaves me to thank you all again for joining us today. Of course, as I've mentioned before, videos, previous webinars, upcoming events, and lots of information about getting started on your journey or improving the way you do cloud are all available on our website and via Twitter and LinkedIn. So thanks again for joining us, and have a great day.